October 1st, 2025. In a scene that has become a familiar, dreaded ritual in American politics, the US government shuts down. The lights on the Capitol dome may still be on, but for vast swathes of the federal machinery, the power has been cut. For weeks, Washington held its breath, but nobody was truly surprised. The political posturing, the escalating rhetoric, the failed 11th hour negotiations, it was a well-rehearsed play. The drama was simply the public face of a deep, unyielding partisan divide. As the clock strikes midnight, the deadline passes. Time runs out. With no new budget authorized by Congress, federal funding legally expires. Under the Antideficiency Act, a 19th century law, the government cannot spend money it doesn't have. The vast engine of the federal state grinds to a halt. Across the country, federal agencies begin shutting down. Work freezes. Projects are abandoned. Over 800,000 federal employees deemed non-essential are furloughed. They are sent home without pay, their livelihoods thrown into sudden uncertainty. The cause was simple yet intractable. Congress failed to pass a budget. The two parties, Democrats and Republicans, were locked in a stalemate. Despite weeks of talks, there was no agreement, no path to compromise. Leadership had failed, choosing confrontation over consensus. At the heart of the fight were fundamental disagreements over spending. Republicans, citing a ballooning national debt, demanded deep cuts, targeting social programs and environmental rules. Democrats refused, arguing that such cuts would devastate essential services for millions, gutting investments in education and healthcare. It was a battle over the very role of government. With both sides entrenched, the nation stood divided. The shutdown begins. It's a headline we see far too often: government shutdown. At its core, it's a high-stakes political standoff where Congress and the president fail to agree on a budget. But how does this deadlock legally force the most powerful government on earth to close its doors? The principle is rooted in the US Constitution, which grants Congress the power of the purse. No money can be spent without an appropriation law passed by Congress. Without that law, the government's wallet is legally sealed. The law is clear: no appropriations, no operations. Every year, Congress must pass 12 crucial appropriations bills, each funding a different part of the government, from defense to national parks. All must be signed by the president before the fiscal year ends at midnight on September 30th. If they miss that deadline, the authority to spend money simply evaporates. This is where a powerful 19th century law kicks in: the Antideficiency Act. Originally designed to prevent agencies from overspending, its modern interpretation enforces the shutdown. The act makes it illegal for federal officials to spend money they haven't been given. When funding lapses, they have no choice but to cease all non-essential work. It's a legal mandate. This triggers an immediate shutdown. But not everything stops. Services deemed essential for safety and property protection continue. This means air traffic controllers and active duty military keep working, often without pay. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of non-essential employees are furloughed, and services like passport processing and national park maintenance are suspended. So, a shutdown isn't a political choice in the moment. It's the automatic legal consequence of political failure. What was once a rare anomaly has been weaponized into a recurring tactic. The law provides the mechanism, but political brinkmanship is why it keeps happening. The government shutdown is a surprisingly modern invention. Before 1980, if Congress missed a budget deadline, federal agencies kept running. They operated on the assumption that funding would eventually be approved retroactively. This system was built on a basic level of political trust that prevented the government's core functions from being held hostage. That all changed in 1980. Attorney General Benjamin Civiletti issued a strict new interpretation of the Antideficiency Act. His opinion stated that without explicit funding, government work must stop. This single legal decision armed political opponents with a powerful new weapon, transforming budget disputes into high-stakes public crises. The shutdown era had begun. The The first major test came in 1995 when President Bill Clinton clashed with a Republican Congress over budget cuts. The standoff led to shutdowns lasting a combined 27 days. National parks closed, hundreds of thousands of federal workers were furloughed, and the economy lost billions. In 2013, the tactic was used again in a fight over the Affordable Care Act. The resulting 16-day shutdown cost the U.S. economy an estimated $24 billion as critical services froze, creating uncertainty that rippled across the globe. But the longest shutdown in U.S. history began in late 2018. For 35 days, the government was partially closed over a dispute for border wall funding. 800,000 federal workers went without pay, and the economic damage was another $11 billion. What began as a legal reinterpretation has become a routine political weapon. Shutdowns are now more frequent and costly, deepening partisan divides and eroding public trust. The threat now looms over every budget negotiation, turning governance into a perpetual game of political chicken. When the government shuts down, a vast array of public services stops. Federal workers are hit first. Hundreds of thousands are furloughed, deemed non-essential overnight. Paychecks vanish. Families worry about making ends meet. Scientists, rangers, assistants, inspectors. Bills pile up. Stress grows. Parks close. Museums lock their doors. Travel halts. Loans freeze. Help disappears. Shutdowns slam the U.S. economy. Billions lost, growth stalled, trust shaken. Hundreds of thousands furloughed. Paychecks vanish. Spending drops overnight. Local businesses suffer. Restaurants empty. Repairs delayed. Sales plummet. The 2013 shutdown. $24 billion lost. 2018 to 19. $11 billion gone. $3 billion lost forever. 2025. Billions more, deeper uncertainty. Public trust eroded. The 2025 government shutdown began October 1st. Like past shutdowns, it was triggered by a budget standoff. The core issue, spending priorities and the role of government. Like 1995 and 2013, parties refused to compromise. Political divisions were sharp, but 2025 was bigger. More workers affected, greater economic risk, over 850,000 furloughed, matching the largest shutdowns. The economy was more fragile than before. The nation was still recovering from global shocks. The 2025 shutdown stands out for its scale and timing. Shutdowns are preventable. The solution starts with responsible leadership and clear rules. Congress must fund the government on time. No excuses, no brinkmanship. Automatic funding extensions can keep agencies open while debates continue. Consider a 2-year budget cycle to reduce standoffs. Reform the process. Make shutdowns harder to trigger, not easier. Citizens must demand accountability and vote for solutions, not gridlock. Preventing the next shutdown is possible.